Thank you, Justin, for all your help during this time. It's been definitely a challenge, but you've made this process a lot easier.
Oh, no problem, Rambo. And I know your grandparents really wanted you to have this, and we will eventually get everything done and all the permits handled, but at least now you have access to the farm.
Yeah, that's the major thing there. And I don't know what I would have done with all your help on this, and I'm glad that you were able here to handle this.
Oh, no problem. Well, I'll let you go, and again, I'll let you know once the permits are all done, and hopefully everything will work out for you.
All right, thanks again, Justin. Talk to you later. Well, the hard part's done. I now have all the land in my name. I also have all the debt. It's been a trying time trying to get the save the family farm and the family restaurant, and we're still not anywhere close to it though. We got a long uphill battle to get there. Justin's been a huge help. Because the last couple of years with my granddad's health fund and all that, he ran up a lot, and I do mean a lot of debt. We're in a very bad position now. We had to restructure all the loans and also had to sell off a large portion of the farm, as well as a lot of the livestock as well. We probably have about a quarter to a third of the farm as what it, compared to all the land we used to have, my grandparents had. So saving the family restaurant and the family farm it's not going to be easy. And with no one being allowed on the farm while it's going through this whole process, which happened to be during the harvest season and all through the winter, and we're now in the spring, well, the fields are in bad shape. As you can see here on the right, this is our cornfield. It's completely withered and never harvested, and we're just gonna have to plow all that in the ground. I mean, those fields are horrible shape. I mean, it's kind of just breaks my heart to think about it, because my granddad, he put a lot of work into this. So I know my grandparents, if they were still alive, they would definitely be heartbroken about that. We still do have the family restaurant over here, but right now it's running at a loss, and the brewery is completely shut down. Until we get the permits for that, which Justin's working on, we can't use the brewery. But the restaurant, I mean, it is running, but right now it's operating at a loss. And kind of the way it's set up, the restaurant is a kind of a separate entity from the farm, so we can sell our produce, and they pay the farm for that. But right now we don't have any produce to sell them. So it's gonna be a while. So hopefully at some point here we can offset the cost of the restaurant to the farm right now, because the farm is covering the cost. And as you can see, we only have $154,000. We do have this large grass field here on the left, which was originally for feeding all the animals, although we have just a fraction of the animals that we used to have on the farm. So I'm thinking we'll probably be selling a lot of our silage and hay that we make from that. But this right here is the farm. This is what we're starting off with here. It's not a lot, but Justin really worked hard on making sure that we could at least keep this yard, because this farm has originally had 2 farmyards. This is the one closest to the house. This actually was not the main farmyard, but it was the one that was the most key, we felt, to keeping the farm operational and having a chance to succeed. So we have all this equipment here. We do have some sheep, although we have a lot less than we used to, because we did have to sell a lot of the animals off. But thankfully, the animals have been fed during the whole process. The local government did, while it was all in probate, they did take care of the animals, make sure they're well fed. We do have several months worth of feed, which is good because it's going to be several months before I can make any food for them. And yeah, I am a little bit worried about that, but thankfully they are well taken care of. And we do have, a greenhouse here, which was for producing some vegetables for the restaurant. But again, haven't, we just haven't done anything here because, the farm's been pretty much off limits since the grandparents passed away last fall. We do have some cows though. We have about 30 head of cow, which is a fraction of what we used to have. We also used to have a second cow pen over on the main farmyard, which we no longer have access to, unfortunately, but you kind of work with what we have, and that's what we're going to do here. So we do have some cows, though for the most part, these are mainly calves. So when they were selling all the cows off at the other farmyard, we kind of had them focus on selling the most profitable cows to kind of reduce the debt, and we kept all the calves because they wouldn't have brought much money. It would allow us to at least have a starting place for cows. So that was kind of our plan there. Now we also do have some fields over here as well. We do have some spreader and some equipment here. A couple of trucks. I'm not sure what we're going to do with the equipment. We didn't really get to pick and choose what equipment we could keep. We kind of are getting to keep what was here on this farmyard, and that's kind of just the way things went down. And thankfully, when we were kind of going over everything with Justin, it pretty much has most of the equipment we're going to need to operate the farm. But one of the major things we're going to have to do right away is these fields over here. So you have this field over here on the left. The way my granddad had it set up, they were kind of divided out. And I think my plan is we're going to combine all of these fields when we plow them in and just make it probably into maybe 2 or 3 large fields. And I think that should set us up to where we can focus on just a couple of crops, because my granddad, he used to focus on lots of different crops because we had the restaurant, we had the brewery, and it was, just he had it all set up, but we also had a lot more land and a lot more fields. We don't have that anymore. So I'm going to try and condense it down to just a couple of crops, make things simplified, and then over time expand it out. Here's the farmhouse. It's going to be weird moving into my grandparents. I know my grandparents used to spend a lot of time here on that little bench in the evenings, just enjoying the pond and enjoying the view. But I did spend a lot of time here growing up. Was raised a lot in my grandparents during the summers, spent my entire summers here during my youth, and then went back to the States to live with my parents pretty much through the school years. But this always felt like a home to me. I always liked it here. But over here, I wanted to take you over here because this is all these fields over here were originally part of the farm, but we had to give them up during the whole process. So we had a couple of pastures here for cows, a couple of grass fields. None of it's being used. Actually, I'm just gonna park right here because the gates are all locked up here. But currently right now, all this land and this farmyard are all sitting, they're all owned by the bank. So the bank's gonna eventually put them up on the market and sell them off. But right now it's just empty, which is kind of weird. It feels weird to me because this was all part of the farm. And honestly, my plan is I want to get all of this back because this is all part of our history, part of the legacy of the family farm. And the plan is we're going to get all this back and get all the animals back at some point and bring the family farm back to its former glory and get that restaurant back up to being fully stocked. Because the whole purpose of the family restaurant was, my grandparents' dream was like, hey, we're going to serve food in the restaurant that was grown here locally on the farm. And so that's the reason all the various crops we had and everything like that. Unfortunately now, that's, well, it's not going to be an option anytime soon. But hopefully soon, if we start making some profits, we can maybe realize that dream. But yeah, all that land. That's kind of the dream right there. The end goal is we want to get all this land back up and get this farm back up to the state where my grandparents had it, and also to the state where my grandparents wanted to get one day too. But let's hop into the truck here, head back to our farm, and get to work because we have a lot of stuff to get done. Now, I do want to talk about one of the biggest hurdles we're going to have here, and that is the loan. We have a $4 million loan left over after everything was sold, and our current monthly payments are $15,609, and that's going to be a huge problem to overcome. Now, another big problem here is we just got access to the farm, and we're in March. And March is the big planting season, so like we need to get our wheat, we need to get our barley in the ground. This is kind of like this crop should have been planted in the fall, but they couldn't, so we're doing spring planting. Maybe we could do soybeans, and we also definitely need to do corn. But all these crops, we have to get them in like fast. But before we can do that, we have to fix the fields, and the fields are in absolutely horrible state. So we got a lot of work in front of us, but I think hopefully with the equipment we have, we might be able to get it done. I don't know. We definitely lost most of the better equipment, but hopefully with what we have, we can get this done. So I'm gonna start here is we're gonna hop in. I believe it's gonna be the Case. So we have a couple of tractors. We have the Ford over there, which is kind of our smallest tractor. And then we have these two here. We have the Case, which is going to be our most powerful tractor. And then we also have a another one there, an old Massey. Whoops. But I think this is going to be our most powerful tractor, which it's not super powerful, but it's going to be the best one we got. So my plan is I'm gonna get this hooked up to the cultivator, and then we're gonna get out there, start working on the fields, because the first thing we got to do is we got to get the fields cultivated, and then we will probably have to do some liming. I might just skip the liming just because money and also time, because you're probably saying, well, you have some money in the bank. Actually, you know what? I need to grab the front weight before I pick that up, that cultivator. Yes, we do have some money in the bank, but again, it's only $150,000, and our monthly payments are like $15,000, and so we have, you can do the math. 10 months of payments. Combined on top of that, we have to plant. We have to wait for the food to get harvested. We're probably going to have to buy some seed and some other stuff. And we're going to have expenses, and we may not survive to the end of the year, because that's going to be our first challenge. Is we got to find a way to survive the end of the year, and in our current state, I'm not sure if we will. Because we have to survive till at least harvest time, and that's if I want to sell everything right when we harvest it, which is I will probably have to do. But that's not the best way to do it, because you lose a lot of money if you sell right after harvesting, because you don't get the best price on the crops. But we'll have to worry about that when we get there. Hopefully we can make some money from like our grass fields or something. I don't know. And the other expense I forgot to mention too is we do have monthly expenditures that we're paying out just to keep the restaurant running, and also the brewery. Even though we can't use the brewery, we still have expenditures from it. So I think it's like $5,000 to $10,000 a month or something like that. I'll have to look into that more, but it's it's a bit much. So I'm going to focus on right here is I'm going to join these two fields up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to plow up these two fields, make them one large field. So I think we'll end up here in this area. We'll have like 3 large fields we can divide up into 3 different crops, and then kind of go from there. So let's get this plowed up and cultivated and get ready for the planting. Alrighty, so that is the divider all cultivated up. So we've made this into one field here, and then I need to figure out what we're going to plant here. I honestly haven't figured that out yet, because on the left here we had oats, and we're definitely gonna need to fertilize it after we cultivate this up. I'm not sure about liming. We might be okay, but I don't know. This was millet, and I don't think we're gonna grow that again, but we will definitely figure that out. So right now what I need to do is we're gonna get the rest of this field, the complete field, now that's a single field, all cultivated up, and then I'll have to do this all over again for the next section. So let me get started on this and get it all cultivated, and then we will I'm just noticing here our fertilizer state is staying 100%. We might get lucky if with the withered crops, if we're cultivating those in, it looks like we're gaining some fertilizing state on that. So if that is the case, we might get lucky. Let's head over here though. So let's talk about this. This field on the right, I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't know what crop we're gonna put in here. Right now it's withered soybeans. We'll cultivate all that in. But I'm gonna let that be one field. But these 2 fields over here on the left, my plan for those is we're going to combine these 2 fields here. So we'll have 2 kind of medium-sized fields, and then we'll have that small field over there on the right, plus that other cornfield way down there at the entrance that we drove by earlier. So in all, we'll have 4 fields, 4 grain fields or something like that, and then we'll have the big grass field. So let me continue on with getting this divider taken out here, and then we'll get started on getting everything cultivated in. Well, we got almost done here with the second headland, and there we go. So we're gonna move on to the third headland here. So my original plan was I was going to hire out a worker to cultivate the field, so that as they're cultivating, I can come in behind and lime and fertilize as needed. Well, oops, I just missed a little bit there. Let me go back here. There we go. But given that because we're cultivating in the withered crops, the field state actually helping the field, so we don't have to do that. So the new plan is I'm going to go ahead and cultivate this field, and then what I'll do is I will hire a worker to cultivate the other fields once I'm done here, and then I will come in and start doing the planting, because while we don't have to do the fertilizing and lime, we still have to plant this month, and we have several fields that we got to get into the ground this month. So I'll continue on with getting this field all cultivated up, and then once we're done with that, I'll start on planting and get a worker hired to cultivate the rest. Well, this is definitely taking quite a while to get done. A lot longer than I thought, but I'm finally almost done with the cultivating. And I'm definitely remembering a lot of the, having a lot of good memories of my younger years, because I used to come out here every summer and work on the farm with my grandparents, and this is definitely bringing back a lot of memories. But let me go ahead and finish up here, and we'll be all done with the cultivating, and then we will focus on getting the next field cultivated and also getting all the planting done. But over here on the right side, there's going to be a little link there where you can go check out our series on Alma as we are working towards getting that $5 million on that farm. So be sure and go check it out, and I hope to see you back here for our next episode.